Good morning. I'm Chris Goodwin from the Results Driven Group, and this morning I'm going to interview Kelly Forrest McKay, who is the interim head of service for school inclusion from Blaenau Gwent Council. She's also in the role of Deputy Director of School Improvement as well, interim. So Kelly, if you want to introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Okay. Morning, everyone. My name is Kelly Forrest, and at the moment I'm seconded into the local authority. So I'm supporting with as interim head of school improvement and inclusion. But usually I'm a substantive head at a local primary school within Blaenau Gwent, and that's where I started my coaching and mentoring journey initially.
Brilliant. Thank you, Kelly. So how have you used coaching and mentoring in your new role since you've been seconded to the local authority? What's the impact been, Kelly?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a transition because obviously being a head teacher within a school, I was able to coach and mentor some counterpart deputy head teachers in other schools. But obviously then when I transitioned into this new role, potentially I could be holding those delegates to account. So there was a need for change. So what I did when I joined the local authority, I obviously didn't want to lose momentum in the training and the skills that I'd acquired during that time, and we had a scope and exercise as a directorate leadership team and how that could be implemented across the local authority. So what we decided to do within the directorate, within the education directorate, we've set up supervision sessions for each of the leaders then to disseminate to their teams. But it was set up in structure, but actually the how it was facilitated wasn't purely like a coaching and mentoring supervision sort of session. So what we've done is that the director leadership team are all now participating in coaching and mentoring training. And then the hope then is that that can be disseminated through the layers within their teams. So we've got the structures in place, but it's now making it more formal and more in line with the true spirit of coaching and mentoring. So that's one area. The other thing that I've been able to do in view of my own sort of need to continue with the training on the master's course for coaching and mentoring, we've been able to work with other directorates. So, for example, at the moment, I'm working with some delegates and colleagues from other directorates. So that's a really lovely opportunity for me to learn about the operational factors within their remit and how they work. So that is a lovely cross working between directorates as well we've been able to look at.
Okay, that sounds absolutely brilliant. So where do you see the opportunities for using coaching and mentoring within your role within the local authority? I mean, what are your plans?
I just think the opportunities are endless. It's such a good sort of team building exercise. It's a brilliant way of factoring in, that relationships that need to be formed, the trust that needs to be built from those coaching conversations. So obviously broadening it outside of the directorate at the moment, because that's going to be realistically a 3 to 5 year plan to embed coaching and mentoring principles across the whole team and the whole directorate. But it would be really lovely to see that permeate further through other directorates as well, when they can see the benefits from, and especially with the challenges that we presented with as educationalists at the moment across the board. I think that this is something that needs to be brought in, as an important factor to deal with some of the challenges and barriers that are being, presented to us at the moment. So there's lots of scope, and there's lots of patience needed in order to embed it purposefully and productively as well.
No, that's really interesting, Kelly. Do you think we can use coaching and mentoring in any way with parents to enable them to help their children anymore? What do you think?
I think, for some of us who have had the, sort of ACEs training and, the trauma-informed approach, a lot of that is about attuning, validating and regulating how the children may be feeling. So I do feel a questioning approach with coaching could be easily applied. So, for example, if we think about when we facilitate person-centered planning meetings with parents, if we take a coaching approach to that as opposed to an imparting knowledge approach, there is that more fluid dialogue with our parents. So I think in the same way as it builds relationships with staff, that could be a good, mechanism of building relationships with parents and allowing them to feel that their voice is heard and their thoughts and feelings are included in the process, along with the problem-solving aspects that are factored in as well. So I think that there is scope for that, definitely.
Yeah, we've seen a really good impact with that, because we put 100 ALM codes through the program year before last, and what we found is that they're having much more developmental conversations with parents in the sense of that partnership, what they can do to then support their child in that school, and which is resulting in some real win-win opportunities, I think, for the child, the parents, the school, the class, the teacher. Everybody sort of wins. So I suppose the final question is, could the local authorities work in partnership with schools more effectively whilst using coaching and mentoring interventions to create a more impactful relationship? So that partnership working between local authorities and schools, could we use coaching and mentoring to develop the relationship better? Could we work in harmony more? Are there any opportunities there, I suppose? Yeah.
That's making me think about the bigger picture, along with the the local authorities sort of perspective as well. If I think about this on a national scale, we know that there's an issue around teacher retention at the moment. We know that there's lots of pressures that our leaders are expected to navigate. In other professions, they would be offered supervision as part of their obviously roles and responsibilities. So I don't see it being unreasonable to have that scaffold within our teaching profession as well, particularly for our leaders, because they are up against a high level of tariff and challenge. So if they've got that space and that time for reflection, that doesn't necessarily have to be from somebody who's on the same skill set as them from a mentoring capacity. It's just having that space and time to learn from other sectors, and to have that sort of coaching conversation facilitated, because I generally think that time for thinking, reflection, and being able to see the wood through the trees when you're faced with so many firefighting aspects within your role could be a potential to support people retaining longer in the profession rather than the quick turnaround that we have at the moment.
I completely agree. I think, and I've always held this view, bearing in mind I've been in coaching, nearly sort of 25 years now, over 25 years, Jesus, 27 years. And I've always had a thought that every single manager and leader should have access to supervision. And with all the programs that we've run across Wales, from management and leadership to coaching and mentoring to curriculum for Wales to mental health and wellbeing, we've always provided supervision as part of the programs. And I think the real benefit is it's that safe space, because teachers are incredibly bright people, but if they've got that safe, confidential space where they can talk through their issues or problems, it enables them to be able to reflect more effectively and then make the correct decisions sort of going forward. So I think supervision should be be available to every educationalist within Wales, which it actually is. We have that offer, that's there. But I just think we need to probably market it more, make people more aware of it, especially those going through difficult situations like you mentioned, staff retention, motivation, whole range of things that need sort of addressing. And
from my perspective, when I think about the schools as a learning organisation model, which is part of our 4 enabling objectives, the Welsh curriculum, that centres around collaboration and need from learning from the wider system. And we talk about resilience, but I like to use resilience in the right context, because resilience doesn't mean running yourself into the ground. It means being resourceful and to be able to draw upon insight and other professionals where needed to obviously to enable your capacity to make decisions. So it's just, for me, is that broader aspect around support at the building the capacities that we need in the profession as well. So it just enhances the things. We know that the profession is extremely skilled, but they need the support to be enable them to enact that, really, isn't it? So I think coaching and mentoring does come in as that bridge to help and support.
No, thank you. Really valuable insights, Kelly. No, thanks for your time, and carry on with the good work with coaching and mentoring. Yes,
thank you very much.
And we'll touch base in supervision later on, no doubt. You take care.
Thank you very much.